nice houses. What a nice little houses. The roof's on the top of that pretty little shack. The fronts of the front and the backs of the back. Ours is a nice houses. It's got no rats or mouses. It's cheap, 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 sweet, sweet, sweet. Ours is a nice houses.
You've got some lovely snapshots, Mrs. Potts.
Ah, that was taken when we were out with the old folks at Blackpool. Oh, we had a good do that year. We all went into the ballroom there, and Mrs. Beckett, you remember her, she wears a wig. And it fell off when she was doing the okey-cokey.
Perhaps she was okey when she should have been cokeying, Mother.
She was drunk.
Oh, now that must have been a pretty sight. A 73-year-old bald-headed woman doing the hokey-cokey.
Well, she got first prize at the fancy dress parade.
Ah, but look at the heck of a start which she had, Mother.
Oh, it was the Chinese fella holding an oil can.
That's my cousin Gertie as Aladdin.
Oh, well, I'd better be going. Oh, forgetting my cigarettes.
Oh, wrong packet, Elsie.
That's empty, Thora.
Yes, I know, love. It was when you came in. Ta-ta, Elsie.
May I come in?
Oh, come in, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, Mrs. Potts, and how are you today?
Not too bad
Under the circumstances. I thought you were rehearsing at the theatre, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I've just come from there, Mrs. Parker, on an errand of mercies, you might say.
Oh, dear, whatever do you mean?
Well, you know our little assistant stage manager, Pat.
Oh, the nice little girl who comes here and borrows tablecloths and things for the theatre.
That's right, Mrs. Parker. Well, I'm afraid she's in trouble.
Oh, I hope not.
No, not that. Oh. No. Her landlady's going on a week's holiday and...
Say no more. Of course she can.
I wonder if I might infringe on your generosity further.
Come again?
Well, we're doing a brand new play next week, and we have an actress who's joined us for the week called Stella Barrington.
I'll have to put you on commission, Mr. Bailey. Well, the only way I could put both of them up is if they don't mind sharing a room.
Oh, they don't mind at all.
Oh, well, you better bring them in.
I have done, Mrs. Parker. They're in the front room.
Oh, well, then we'd better go and see them. Mother, love, will you please put the carrots on, your teeth in, and the houseful boards out?
So, of course, I said to the producer, I said, look, darling, I'm the leading lady, and that's the part I want to play. Of course, he gave me the part. Yes, I think I was having an affair with him at the time.
Stella, darling, this is our dear landlady, Mrs. Parker. Stella Barrington.
Oh, Mrs. Parker, how enchanting to meet you. Brandon's told me what an absolute poppet you are. You're quite right, you know, darling. She is an absolute angel. Terribly, terribly sweet.
Oh, well, it's terribly, terribly sweet to meet you.
Yes, you know Pat, don't you, Mrs. Parker?
Yes, I hope you'll be able to take me in, Mrs. Parker.
Of course.
Well, I'll leave these ladies in your very capable hands, Mrs. Parker. I must get back to the theatre.
All right, Mr. Bailey, but if you find any more orphans of the storm, they'll have to sleep with my mother.
All right.
Mrs. Parker, we haven't fixed up how much we're going to pay you yet.
Oh, money, darling, such a sordid subject.
Well, in my other gigs,
Leave this to me, Ducky. Now, Mrs. Parker, in the last place I stayed, I actually got bed and board, you know, for only 45 shillings.
Oh, where was that? The Salvation Army?
Well, could we say in the region of £3.10?
Well, we could, but we won't. Change your region.
Oh, well, then might we say, £3.15?
We might.
Good.
But we're not going to.
Really, Stella, I think we ought to leave this to Mrs. Parker.
Oh, sorry, darling, I was only trying to help.
Yes, so I hear. I mean, the way you're going on, I'm going to be paying you to stop here, aren't I? Now, I usually charge £7, but as you're sharing a room, I thought £5.10 each.
£5.10?
English money.
I think that's very reasonable, Mrs. Parker.
Oh, well, I suppose I'll just have to accept.
No obligation, Miss Barrington. There's always the seaman's mission round the corner.
Oh, no, come, Mrs. Parker. I'm sure we're going to be terribly happy. Oh, just one thing before I forget. I am an early riser, darling, so could I possibly have an alarm clock?
Of course, but you won't need one here, love.
No.
You'll hear me scraping the toast. Right, now come on and I'll show you. I have put you in the double room next to the bar.
I know the one,
You know
Mrs.
the
Parker.
one.
I'll share, Stella.
Now, would you like a cup of tea when you come down?
Oh, I'd love one, Mrs. Parker.
Oh, I should simply adore a cup of tea, darling. You wouldn't have china, I suppose.
Well, what did you think I was going to serve it in, a basin?
No sugar for me, Mrs. Parker.
You know, and could I have just a tiny speck of sugar? Very weak, darling, you know, and just the merest suggestion of milk.
Yes. At a particular speed, you'd like it to come out of the teapot?
Over there.
I know.
You know, Gran, you need patience to play patience.
Oh, that's Stella Barrington. Well, she must have been in some very funny digs.
Oh.
Do you know what she just said to me? That for a tea, she would like buck rabbit. Buck rabbit! She'll get cheese on toast with an egg on it, the same as the rest of them. Now, love.
Mrs. Parker, I've just taken this vase from the landing for next week's play. You said it would be all right.
Yes, of course it is. There's a piece of brown paper there you can wrap it up in.
I hear you've got the leading part in the play next
Oh,
week.
yes, I'm so thrilled. It's the first time I've had a leading part. It's a wonderful chance for me. I've just written and told my mother about it.
Oh, and I'll bet your mother will be excited. Well, we shall all be at the Hippodrome on Monday night, you know, to applaud you. What part is Stella by Gaslight playing in the show?
Well, in the play I have two sisters, and Stella plays one of them.
Well, she's big enough to play them both.
Oh, Mrs. Parker, I wonder if I might make a tiny nuisance of myself and ask a tiny favour of you, darling. I want to make a phone call. Could you possibly give me sixpence for 2 threepenny bits?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, bless you, darling.
Yes. Here we are, love.
Ah, so kind.
And that'll be a tiny, tiny tanner, please.
Oh, yes, of course, how stupid of me.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
How do you like that bed you're sleeping on?
Oh, madly comfy, darling. Why?
Well, it used to be my bed. It's feathers, you know. I've had 3 children on it.
It was a bit crowded, but she managed all right.
I'm sure Miss Barrington doesn't want to hear the history of your bed, Gran.
Well, I was only telling her about the feathers. You can't go wrong with feathers.
Well, you seem to.
I must say, mine's a super bed.
Ah, yours is a lovely bed. Now, when I had my first...
Yeah, well, all right, Mother. You're making it sound like a maternity home.
Thank you for the vase, Mrs. Parker. A moustache.
You so must I. Bye, darlings.
Bye, love. I think she's crackers.
I'll drink to that. Well, must go and wash my hair.
Right, love.
Oh, Mummy darling, if half the phones, I'll be in my boudoir.
All right, dear heart. I'll give you a tiny shout up the stairs.
Yes, of course, I'm so much better in emotional parts. Well, you know, I can turn on the tears like a tap.
I never knew a woman that couldn't.
Have you always been on the stage, Miss Barrington?
Oh, yes, darling, yes, always, yes. I first appeared in St. Joan, carried on as a tot.
Oh, how interesting. Oh, Mrs. Parker, we were just talking about the play St. Joan.
Oh, that's a wonderful play. I do like that bit where he kills the dragon.
Have you ever been on the stage, Mrs. Parker?
Oh, well, only at school, you know, things like that.
Oh, they were always great fun.
I remember one year, me and Elsie Crabtree, we sang a duet, Two Little Girls in Blue. And the audience roared with laughing.
Oh, how cruel. Why?
We were both dressed in red frocks.
How sweet. Oh, look at the time. I should be late for my concert. I'm going to the Civic Hall tonight to see Hugh de Menwin. Have you seen him, Mrs. Parker?
Well, no, but I've heard him on the wireless.
Oh, isn't he a wonderful musician?
Marvellous. I reckon he's the best mouth organ player we've got.
Well, I'm going past the Civic Hall, Mrs. Hunt, so come on, love. I'll give you a lift on my crossbar.
Goodbye,
Bye,
dear.
darling.
Thank you, Mr. Whittle.
I thought you cared for me, but now I find you love my sister. Oh, my God, this dreary play is even drearier part.
My dear Stella, the most wonderful news.
They've cancelled this ghastly play.
On the contrary, 3 London managements coming up to see the first night of this ghastly play.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
What, to see this rubbish, but they'll never sit through the first 5 pages.
Oh, please God, they do. I don't appear till page 9.
How do you know this, Ducky?
Well, I've just been having a drink with Roger, our producer. I actually left half of it to come and tell you the news. I mean, don't you see this is the chance of a lifetime, especially for young Pat. I mean, who knows? We may all be discovered.
Well, you might be, darling, but hardly me, with my tiny part.
Oh, I know it's small, dear, but at least these people will see your performance.
Oh, some performance this'll be. 8 lines in Act 1, 5 in Act 2. And in Act 3, I elope to Ceylon with an oversexed tea planter and die in childbirth. Oh, great part that is, love. But perhaps we can do something about that.
Where are you going?
To finish that drink you left, sweetie.
Oh, dear, dear. But, Fifi, I love you. You must divorce him. We can't go on like this. And, oh, this is unlearnable.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Bailey. Are you practicing?
Oh, yeah, well, I've tried to learn this damn part, and the way it's going, I think I should be up all night. I wonder, would you be kind enough to help me with my lines?
Well, of course I will, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I've come to see you I find very tricky. Now, if you could read the other part, the part of Fifi, I mean, would you mind?
No, I would love to, Mr. Bailey, if it'd be any help to you.
Oh, it'd help me enormously, Mrs. Parker. Now, let me find the scene on the boulevard. Yes, right, here we are. Now, I play the part of Pierre, your lover. And when you read Fifi's lines, you needn't bother about the accent, Mrs. Parker.
Oh, well, I'm glad about that, because I'm not very good at Irish.
Well, top of the page, Mrs. Parker. I think you speak first.
I do. Boulevard scene. Oh, Pierre, you kept her on this bus. I see you have nothing on this morning.
Not a thing. I am free.
Yeah, well, you won't be for so long, will you? Running about on the boulevard with no clothes on.
Well, go on, Mrs. Parker.
Oh, Pierre, my cherry. Are you... Oh, Pierre, my cherry, are you happy putting on lipstick? Hey, isn't he?
No. Fifi puts on the lipstick.
Oh, I see. Oh. Are you happy, my Pierre?
Ecstatically, my darling. And you?
What you said just then. And how is your husband?
What?
How is your husband?
Oh, yes, thank you. How is your husband?
Is this Fifi a married woman, then?
Oh, yes.
And she's mucking about on the boulevard with you? Well, that's disgusting.
Oh, but you see, Mrs. Parker, her husband's promiscuous.
Then she should be at home looking after him.
Please, Mrs. Parker, let's continue. And how is your husband?
He's going to Florence. Oh, well, I mean, if he's at it too, you can't blame her.
And when will he return from Florence?
He will be back tonight. Oh, he doesn't stop long at Florence, does he? Sorry. But he will be returning tomorrow and then off to Monaco. Ah, well, that's why he leaves Florrie early, is it? Because he's gone off to this Monaco. Then he comes home for 2 weeks bird watching. You know, this fellow ought to be locked up.
Oh, dear. You don't understand, Mrs. P. He's a commercial artist.
Well, he sounds more like a commercial traveller.
Please, Mrs. Parker, let's carry on. Well, yes. Now we come to the next scene, which takes place in Fifi's apartment.
That's it.
Oh, yes, there we are.
Right.
Yep.
Fifi's apartment overlooking the champ's Elsie.
No. It's the Champs-Élysées. The Champs-Élysées. Got it?
Yes, I have. Fifi's apartment overlooking the champ's Elsie. Fifi is discovered sitting on the chaise longue reading the paper. Funny place to read the paper, isn't it? Pierre is dancing around the room with ecstasy. Well, you haven't wasted much time, have you? I mean, she has gone off to this chaise longue and now you're nipping about with ecstasy.
Yeah, ecstasy is an emotion, Mrs. P.
I don't care if she's an Eskimo. I think this is all a bit Eskimo.
Can you read the lines, Mrs. Parker?
Yes, I can, and I can read between them as well, Mr. Bailey. I've never read anything like this in my life. It's worse than Lady Chapter's mother. Right, where are we? Oh, yes, I see. Now, Fifi is just finishing a double brandy. May Cherry, give me another double brandy. No, don't look. Be fair. But, darling.
Darling. Don't tell me. I know.
Right.
I know, yes. But, darling, do you think you should? This will be your 5th.
I know, but it makes me happy, and you happy too, and I like to see it. Oh, hey, another double brandy, and you won't be able to see anything, will you? I am waiting, my darling.
What for, chérie?
No, not for sherry. She's drinking brandy.
Next line, Mrs. Parker.
Oh, yes. I've had such a wonderful day knocking on the door.
No. I've had such a wonderful day knocking on the door.
Oh, and I'll bet if it's her husband knocking on the door, he'll get his neck wrung.
Well, now, the moment the door opens, yes. Fifi's husband, dressed in immaculate evening dress, bursts into the room and says in impeccable French...
What a bloody night!
had a smashing time in Blackpool, Mrs. Potts. You know, I do love them lights. By the way, love, now we're on our own, I've brought you a little present. Well, I mean, I brought something for your Thora, so it's only right I should bring you something as well. Here you are, love. You like that better than a stick of rock, don't you?
Hey, that's nice of you, Elsie. A drop of mother's ruin from Blackpool. But don't tell our Thora, or it'll go straight down the sink.
Well, then you better hide it away somewhere.
I know. Put it in that tobacco jar on the mantelpiece.
Right.
Your room. And 2 plates you want, don't you?
Yes.
Here we are. And you said a cake plate, didn't you?
Please.
Anything else you want, just let me know. And that cushion is over there. Well, there's one thing about it. When we get to the Hippodrome on Monday night, we shall feel at home, won't we?
Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Oh, will you tell Vera I've put her dress back in her room? I shan't be needing it.
Why not?
I'm not going to play the part now. Well, Stella found out about all those London managements coming to see the play. So with the aid of a few gins, she managed to persuade the producer to let her play my part.
What? The scheming thing. Oh, what a shame. So you mean she has got the big chance that should have been yours?
That's right.
Oh, no. And she's going to try and play the part of a 22-year-old girl?
Yes.
You talk about cow dressed as lamb.
You mean mutton, don't you, Thora?
I know what I mean, Elsie. Look, well, never mind, love. Your chance will come. Now, what else was it you wanted? I've forgotten.
A biscuit barrel.
A biscuit. Now, that's one thing I haven't got in this house. Now, let's think. What could you use that would look that... Oh, look, take that. It'll look just the same from the audience. Elsie, love, will you please give Pat that tobacco jar?
Hello, Mum. Oh, did you get this week's Dream Girl?
Yes, I did, love. Here it is. Hello, Mother. All right, love.
All right, love.
I was reading that magazine on the bus, Vera. You know, all about that girl who's been living with those monkeys.
My Life with the Apes. Confessions of Jeannie, a woman who spent 2 years living alone with the apes in the jungle and learnt to love them.
I had to look like them by the look of that photograph. There's your nail varnish, love.
Thanks, Mum. I'm just going upstairs, so I'll take it up.
Did you get my sleeping pills?
Yes, I did, Mother. Here they are, and the chemist says that these are very strong. One of these, and you will be out like a light in no time. Now, love, will you just go next door to Elsie Crabtree's for me? And would you kindly ask her if she would mind lending me my electric iron, which she borrowed last week?
All right.
Hello, love, I thought you had a dress rehearsal.
Mr. Bailey sent me back to get his trousers. Vera was putting a button on them.
Oh.
There they are.
Oh, now, whatever's the matter, love? Look, don't upset yourself like that. I know how you feel, but your chance will come. Oh, that Miss Barrington, I hope she gets the bird. And if she wasn't staying here, I would see that she did.
It's not that, Mrs. Parker. It's just that my mother's coming tonight with my auntie and my uncle.
And haven't you told her that she's embezzled your part?
No, I hadn't got the heart. Whatever am I going to tell them?
Well, now, let's think. What could we say? Well, could you say to your mother, you know, that you haven't been feeling very well, and so you gave the part in case you couldn't go to the theatre tonight?
Yes. Yes, that's a good idea. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Parker. I don't know what I'd have done without you this week.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Never mind. Poor little love. What are you doing back, Miss Barrington?
Well, we finished dress rehearsal rather early, so I thought I'd come home for a tiny rest. Oh, I've got such a strenuous role to play tonight, Mrs. Parker. You know what first nights are.
Well, apart from my honeymoon, I'm afraid I don't.
Now, of course, I've got an absolutely splitting head. I suppose you wouldn't have such a thing as an aspirin, would you, darling?
Well, there should be one somewhere.
Oh, bless you.
Ooh, look, take 3 of these. They really do work wonders. Yes.
But will they work quickly, darling?
I hope so. Look, just have a tiny glass of water, and then you go put your tiny feet up, have a tiny little rest, and you wake up feeling like a 22-year-old.
You're most kind. Well, I shall go to my room and lie down. If I'm not up and doing in, say, half an hour, would you be a sweetie and give a tiny knock on my door?
I will. With the bathroom sponge.
Well, I can't get an answer from Elsie, and all the curtains are drawn.
Oh, well, of course, Mother, it's Monday. She'll be expecting the rent man. Now, look, why don't you go now and get ready for the theatre?
Shall I wear my black hat?
Well, not if you can help it. Now, go on, love, and don't make a noise because somebody's sleeping up there.
Who's sleeping?
Come here, I'll be there. Now, look, love, supposing, you know, just supposing that Stella Barrington couldn't get to that theatre tonight.
I'd like to see anyone try and stop her.
Well, you stick around, kid. I've got news for you.
Come on now, Mum. What have you been up to?
Well, you see, she came... So, you see, she is upstairs, is Stella Dowes, having a rest. And it is my guess that if she doesn't get to the theatre, Pat would have to go on and play the part, right?
Right. But she'll wake up all right.
Not if those sleeping tablets are half as strong as the chemist says they are. She will still be there at this time tomorrow night.
Mum, you haven't. How could you? That's terrible. But what a marvellous idea.
Oh, it's surprising what you can learn from the Avengers.
Oh, but she doesn't turn up at the theatre.
Now, you leave all this to Emma Peel.
Hello, Mum.
Why do you think you're going?
I'm just taking this back.
Oh, no, you are not. There is 7 and 6pence on that.
What do you think I'm taking it back for? You couldn't lend me 10 bob, Mum.
Right, first down.
Well, I think I'll go and put my record player on.
But no. Now, you come and sit down and I'll get you your tea. And we could talk about that 10 shillings later.
Well, I'm ready.
Well, we're not, Mother. And there is an hour and a half before we go to the theatre. So, look, love, you sit down and you have a little rest. And try and get Luxembourg on that area. Well, come on, Mother. We're ready.
What time is it?
It's time to go to the theatre. Come on, we're late already.
Mrs. Parker, have you seen Stella?
Oh, I thought it was John Hanson looking for digs. Is it you, Mr. Bailey?
Well, who the devil do you think it is?
Well, you look like a cross between Errol Flynn and the Desert Song.
Please, Mrs. Parker, this is no time for flippancies. The curtain's going up in just over a quarter of an hour, and Stella's nowhere to be found. Has she been here?
Well, yes, she came back for a little rest, and then she's gone out again.
Well, how long ago was this?
Half an hour.
Well, neither of you seem very sure. I better see if she's still in her room.
But no, because I have just been upstairs to turn her bed down.
Oh, there's complete pandemonium going on at the theatre. I only hope Stella turns up.
And what would happen if she didn't, Mr. Bailey?
Well, Pat'll have to go on for her.
Yes, and she'd be very good in the part.
Eh?
I mean, we mustn't forget your humbugs, Mother.
Hey? Well, as a matter of fact, I know where Miss Barrington...
Oh, little love, did I accidentally tread on your foot? Now, how much was it you said I owed you? 10 shillings, wasn't it?
It was. It's gone up to £1 now.
Has it? Oh, there, my son, there's your £1. You could get 2 years for this, you know.
So could you. Well, I think I'll take that soda siphon back.
Oh, yes, and I should do it straight away.
It's all right, the pubs are open till 10:30.
Yeah, oh, but there might be a queue.
I really must get back to the theatre. The curtain's going up in 15 minutes.
It's a pity you didn't come on your camel. You'd have done it in no time. Well, Monte Capitan.
Phew, that was a close shave.
What about my humbugs?
What humbugs?
The humbugs you said we want to forget.
Oh, well, there aren't any humbugs. And do come on, Mother, because we're going to be late for the theatre.
Yes, but you know I like something to sup when I'm at the theatre.
All right, you can have this present that Elsie Crabtree brought me back from Blackpool. You can suck this. Now, come on.